No, in fairness to reality, the police were actually not deployed to the National Assembly. Our reporters confirmed that the police were not there.
That's National Assembly. I was not born last night now. Policemen were in the National Assembly. If you go to the National Assembly now, you see policemen.
Mr. Anene, I should remind you that this event occurred before the National Assembly opened, where officials were not there. We're talking about, sir, one moment, please. We're talking about 6 a.m. in the morning before the premises was opened. It was already being blocked. So
when does policemen posted to National Assembly report to work? When? That's the question. I don't understand why we're being deceived in this country. I said it again. If you go to National Assembly now, policemen are stationed there 24 hours. So where were the policemen stationed in the National Assembly when this siege was going on? Where were other security outfits stationed in the National Assembly when this siege was going on? If DSSS acted on their own as they made us to believe now, and other sister security forces in the National Assembly don't do anything, so what is the implication?
Mr. Anene, there's a difference between guarding the perimeter of the National Assembly and having policemen in the National Assembly.
If you are guarding perimeters of National Assembly, right, from the entrance gate, first gate, there are policemen there. Before you get to the second gate, the third gate, and perhaps not. So, if there are, because there were issues, the elected members of the National Assembly were prevented from gaining access into the chambers. There were altercations. You saw one woman shouting, "Shoot me!" And no policeman reported to the scene. No other sister security agents reported to the scene. They even inquired from the DSS operatives what was going on.
Is it normal? Mr. Anene, this is why it's very important that we stick to fact, because indeed the police.
See, I don't understand which fact. Excuse me,
Mr. Anene, you're making a wrong assertion. I need to correct it, please.
What is wrong assertion?
Yes, the police were not there at the initial part of the siege in the morning. We do understand, though, that the police was sent in the early hours, around 8 or 9, to visit the scene and see what was going on. They now left. That is when officials from the presidency now came with police to the scene. These are the established facts.
You see, I want you to contradict me. Are you telling Nigerians?
I'm not telling Nigerians
Are you
anything.
telling me? You're telling me.
I'm expressing the facts as we know them.
Which facts? Which facts? Excuse me. Facts are defined by Evidence Act. Is the state of the affairs, or is the state on which the state of affairs would have been? You see, facts is sacred. And the facts are there. Are you telling Nigerians that there was no policeman in the National Assembly by 6 a.m.? Are you telling Nigerians that once National Assembly closes by 4 p.m. or 6 p.m., all the policemen that's supposed to guard National Assembly disappears? Are you telling Nigerians there is no policeman guarding National Assembly between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
Okay, so what is your larger point? What are you driving?
No. When you say it's a misinformation, I didn't get you.
No, it's very, what is very...
The question we should ask ourselves is
Mr. Anene, please, we're not engaging in... I don't want us to digress into rhetoric that doesn't have meaning.
It has meaning.
Let's stick to the point. You're saying that the police should have been there. Is that what you're saying?
You see, I'm not saying that police shouldn't... If you say police should have been there, it becomes rhetoric. I said policemen were there. Because if you go to National Assembly, there is a division of Nigerian police force in the National Assembly. And that division of Nigerian police force in the National Assembly works 24 hours round the clock. So if the siege started by 6 a.m. in the morning as alleged, and the policemen are not there, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, why were other security agents looking like spectators in the scene? That's the question. So if Lawan Daura acted on his own volition, and other sister security agents did not do anything, should we be clapping hands for them that they were not there? If they were not there, what happens to intelligence gathering committee of the Nigerian police force? Other sister security agents? I think somebody should be reporting to somebody. This is what is going on in the National Assembly. The cause should be going on.
According to the inspector,
to get clarification.
Right. According to the Inspector General of Police, there was a request made by the sacked Director General of the DSS to the IG, asking the IG for a deployment of police forces, of police personnel to the National Assembly. According to the IG did not respond in the affirmative to that request because he had not received a directive from the presidency. That is according to the IG. In view of that information, which is what this is the IG's testimony, will you now say still that the police were there the entire time?
See, I don't understand. You see, what I'm saying in effect is this. There is a police division in National Assembly. That is established fact. If there is a backup that DSSS, former DSSS DG is asking for, it becomes a different thing. There is a police formation in National Assembly stated there. So what happens to that police formation? That's my question. It's only when that police formation in the National Assembly is being overpowered that you can call for backup.
Mr. Anene, this is why earlier in the conversation I was attempting to provide a clarification for the understanding of all of our viewers that there is a difference between security within the premises of the National Assembly complex and in securing the perimeter. You keep referring to the residual police force that's there. These are this is perimeter security.
There is what we call the precincts of the National Assembly. The precincts of National Assembly start from the first gate to the hallowed chambers. That's the precincts of the National Assembly. You can't be guiding the National Assembly. What's the difference? What is the distance between that gate, wherein the elected federal legislators were stopped from getting entrance into the main building, to the building where the policemen you allege now are protecting? It's not up to 200 meters. And altercations, serious altercations was going on in that gate, and people were watching helplessly. And I'm saying there is difference between securing National Assembly perimeters and the hallowed chambers. That's half a dozen and six.
Mr. Anene, when the lawmakers were locked out, the media members were there. That's how we know there were these altercations. They were all there. They know who was there and who was not there. We have heard from members of the media
so who have you verified?
There were no police there.
Excuse me.
At the beginning of the siege.
At the beginning of the siege, by 6 a.m. in the morning. So have you tried to find out where were other security agents that ought to be in National Assembly were not there at that scene? Did they find out?
I've just told you that the DSS made a request that was denied for more police police personnel to attend. I've just informed you that that's what happened.
Okay, in other words,
that's according to the IG.
So the policemen stationed in the National Assembly disappears at the close of work every day. Is that what you're telling Nigerians? Or you want me to believe that? That when National Assembly is shut down for day business, the policemen stationed in National Assembly disappears.
Okay, let's look further into the IG's report. According to the report, when the sacked DG of the DSS mentioned that he was acting on intelligence that arms were being smuggled in the National Assembly, the IG's interrogators went further and pressed him and found out that there was indeed no deployment of explosive ordnance disposal units of the DSS or the police or any other security agency, which brings into question the initial claim by the sacked DG that it was indeed about stopping the flow of arms into the National Assembly. What are your thoughts on the apparent contradiction that you have you have locked down the National Assembly to stop the flow of arms, but yet the specialists that would be involved in investigating or disposing of such munitions were not present at the scene?
You see, that brings me back to what I said earlier. If the acting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria fired the former DG of DSSS for gross insubordination, it becomes a different thing. But if he fired him based on what happened in the National Assembly on that fateful day, without a thorough investigation, for me, let more to be desired. Because first I'm emanating. Yes, the DG, we are now made to understand that the former DG of DSSS requested for police backup in National Assembly. And that was not to be. Then we were also told that the men of the DSSS took over the National Assembly. For whatever reasons, there was no explosive detective equipment there, deployed there. So it was just for the purposes of preventing the elected members from getting entrance. Right. That is it. So a further investigation will unveil this, so that by the time you deal with the situation, you know who to deal with and who not to deal with, and who can be exonerated and who cannot be exonerated.
Mr. Anene, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Clearly, there are going to be more questions as to why it is that the DG, the sacked DG of the DSS, sent those men, whether this was a political conspiracy or whether, what the facts are. We're all going to wait and see what the investigation ultimately unravels. But this morning, we thank you for coming on the program and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you for having me too.
Standing by with me has been Mr. Emmanuel Anene, a legal practitioner. At this juncture, we throw it over to our legal studio where Chamberlain is standing by. Chamberlain?